For centuries, tales of sea serpents, mermaids, and werewolves have been dismissed as superstition or stories. But what if these myths were never fiction at all? What if they were distorted truths our ancestors could not fully understand? In the last 3 parts, we uncovered 21 mythical beings that blurred the line between legend and reality. But in part 4, the stories grow darker. These are 7 more mystical beings that may not belong to fairy tales at all, but to our forgotten history. Number 7. Moby Dіck. 7th in our video is a creature that seemed like a harmless whale at first, but it was neither harmless nor ordinary. It was an enormous albino sperm whale with a mind of its own and vengeance in its heart. The sailors named it Moby Dіck. The legend of Moby Dіck started in 1820 when a real whaling ship, the Essex, was attacked by a massive albino whale in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It didn't just bump the ship, it rammed it twice with a terrifying intent. The ship sank. Sailors were stranded, and some say the whale didn't leave until it was satisfied. But this wasn't like other sea whales. This one was intelligent, almost calculated. And it isn't hard to believe because, as per marine biologists, sperm whales have the largest brains of any creature on Earth, 5 times larger than a human's. They pass knowledge from one generation to the next, and they coordinate deep-sea hunts with military precision. Some researchers even believe they can remember those who wronged them. So when that white whale circled back for a second strike, was it instinct or was it payback? But it wasn't just the Essex incident. In 1825, a massive 60-foot whale washed ashore on England's east coast, drawing crowds of astonished residents. A local doctor performed a dissection on the spot, making it one of the earliest recorded scientific studies of a sperm whale. It seemed as though the legend was being confirmed by reality. Years later, that real-life horror inspired Herman Melville to write his novel Moby Dіck. In the book, the whale was said to be so massive it dwarfed all others. Its spout was twisted, its head scarred and wrinkled, and its eyes seemed to look through you. The book flopped when it was first published, but over the decades it gained cult-like popularity. In Reddit threads today, people still dissect it like scripture. One even wrote, "It's a book that highlights obsession to the point of madness. I may even have been like Captain Ahab myself, but instead of a whale, I'm seeking the truth." So, this story of chasing the white beast might be fiction, but the beast itself, some say it's real. Number 6, Kitsune. If you've seen Kung Fu Panda 4, you probably remember Jen, the clever fox who steals, outsmarts, and slips away before anyone can catch her. Now imagine giving her the powers of the chameleon, the villain who can take on any form, copy any voice, and disappear in plain sight. That is the Kitsune. In Japanese folklore, the Kitsune is no ordinary fox. It's ancient, intelligent, and always watching. They say Kitsune start off as regular foxes, but as they grow older, sometimes over hundreds of years, they gain tails. The more tails a Kitsune has, the more powerful it becomes. A fully grown Kitsune has 9 tails and can bend reality itself. But their most dangerous gift is transformation. Kitsune can shapeshift into humans. Not just random people, but your family, your friends, even you. And they don't just look like someone. They know how they act, how they speak, what they remember. That's why by the time you realize it's not really them, it's too late. Some stories say they do this for mischief, to prank humans or teach them lessons. But other tales are darker. Some Kitsune seduce travelers, marry into human families, and live among them for years, all while slowly draining their life force. But it's not just shape-shifting. Kitsune can produce foxfire, bursts of blue flame, or lightning created by their tails. In modern Japan, there are still Kitsune sightings. People claim to have met strangers who knew too much, or watched someone shift into something else just for a second in a reflection. One Reddit user shared a strange experience after visiting the Fushimi Inari Shrine in Kyoto, a place deeply connected to Kitsune spirits. After making a small offering at a hidden fox shrine, he felt lighter and mysteriously stopped getting lost in the city. Some say Kitsune are protectors, guarding sacred shrines and punishing the wicked. Others say they're spies for the gods, but most agree on one thing. If you anger a Kitsune, you won't even know they're coming for you. Number 5, Nixie. In old Scandinavian folklore, the lakes and rivers weren't just part of the landscape. They were alive. People believed they held spirits, and one of the most feared was the Nixie. The Nixie, also known as Nuck or Neki, was the spirit of a mermaid. But what's truly unsettling is that she didn't always appear as one. Sometimes she appears as a beautiful woman with long, dripping hair, pale skin, and eyes that never blink. Other times she shows up as a quiet white horse grazing near the edge of the lake, but either way, she always waits near water, and always alone. As one Reddit user who grew up in Norway recalled, the story is about not going close to the water, especially alone and when it's dark outside, or the Necken will come and drag you into the water. But she doesn't chase, she doesn't scream, she sings. A soft, strange melody, so beautiful it pulls people in. First, they stop, then they walk, and by the time they realize what they're doing, their feet are already in the water. That's when she pulls them under. In some stories, she can teach you how to play haunting music, especially on the violin, but only if you give her something in return. Some say she wants gold, others say your voice. But if your gift isn't good enough, she takes your life instead. There's an old tale of a man who fell in love with the Nixie. And as one Reddit user wrote, the Nucken is known to lure people, most likely men, to their demise, mostly in swamps. But this man wasn't lured. He chose his fate. He tied himself to her with a golden rope so she would never leave. Now, people say he still plays her music from beneath the water, trapped forever. No one really agrees on what the Nixie is. Some say she's the spirit of someone who drowned, cursed to take others with her. Others believe she's ancient, older than the forests, and feeds on the souls of those who wander too close. Even today, hikers and villagers in Germany, Norway, and Sweden report hearing music near rivers. Music with no source. Some have seen pale figures standing in the fog, some have gone missing. So if you ever hear a soft tune near a riverbank, especially on a misty evening, don't stop or listen. Just walk away. Number 4. Centaur. Do you remember Firenze, the silver-haired half-man, half-horse who lived deep within the Forbidden Forest in Harry Potter? Firenze was a centaur with the torso of a man, the body of a stallion, and the knowledge of the worlds. But Firenze wasn't the only time centaurs have appeared on screen. You'll find them in Chronicles of Narnia, Percy Jackson, The Witcher, and many other stories. According to legend, centaurs lived in the wild forests and mountains, far from cities. Most of them were known to be wild and rude. They loved drinking and fighting and were feared by many. There's a famous tale where they crashed a wedding and tried to steal the bride, starting a massive fight with the humans. But not all centaurs were bad. One of them, Chiron, was kind, wise, and peaceful. He was a teacher and healer and trained many Greek heroes like Achilles. The gods respected Chiron so much that when he died, they placed him among the stars as the Sagittarius constellation. But here's where things take a strange turn. In 1876, archaeologists in Volos, Greece, reportedly uncovered a bizarre skeleton, human-like ribcage fused with the fossilized remains of a horse's lower body. Many dismissed it as a hoax, a clever fusion of two skeletons buried together. But others weren't so sure. The bones showed no signs of tampering, and the structure looked too natural. To this day, the Centaur of Volos sits in a private museum collection, off limits to most of the world. But photos still circulate in niche forums, and the debate hasn't died down. People even took a dig at the centaur's organs. I wonder what it's like to have two sets of lungs. I feel bad for centaur's lower back. So, was it just a misunderstanding? Or proof that centaurs once roamed the earth? Whatever the truth is, the myth of the centaur keeps trotting back into our world. Number 3. Indrik. The Indrik isn't like any other creature we've encountered so far. It's not a monster. It doesn't stalk villages, haunt the woods, or walk in shadows. Instead, it lives far from civilization, alone on the holy mountain. A place so sacred, no other beast dares to walk where it lives. In old Russian folklore, especially in a medieval religious text called the Book of Doves, the Indrik is known as the father of all beasts. Its name appears in many forms as Indrak, Vindrik, and even Yednorog, all the Russian words for unicorn. But this is no ordinary unicorn. Descriptions of the Indrik often depict a gigantic beast with the legs of a deer, the head of a horse. Some say it has a single spiraled horn, others imagine it with the branching antlers of an elk. Its leaps are said to shake the earth, yet it brings no destruction. The Indrik, in essence, is a creature of purity. Wherever it walks, it's said to pierce stone and mountain, unleashing fresh springs from the depths of the earth. Its home, the Holy Mountain, is often identified as Mount Tabor or Mount Athos, both revered in Eastern Christian tradition. According to ancient myth, the Indrik drinks from the blue sea and walks through the underworld the way the sun moves across the sky. It's often portrayed as a noble guardian or mystical steed. And they say, if you ever feel the ground gently rumble beneath your feet near a silent, forgotten mountain, it might just be the Indrik, still walking through stone, just like the old stories said. Number 2. Huma. Imagine a bird that soars through the skies and never comes to rest, not during the day, not even at night. A bird so free, so untouchable, that it never touches the ground. This is the Huma, a mythical creature born from the heart of Persian legend, whispered through Sufi poetry, Ottoman tales, and Indian royalty. It is said to live its entire life in flight. Some say it doesn't even have legs. Others believe its body holds both male and female halves, each with one wing and one leg, so that only in perfect unity can it fly. It never rests, never nests. It simply glides endlessly through the heavens, too high to be seen, too sacred to be caught. And that is what makes the Huma magical. In every tradition that speaks of it, one belief remains the same. Its touch brings good fortune. If the Huma's shadow brushes across your face, you are said to be blessed with happiness for the rest of your life. If it lands on your head, legends say it chooses you for kingship. Rulers in ancient India and Persia believed the feathers on their turbans came from this very bird, a sign that their reign was divinely chosen. But catching a Huma, that is beyond human reach. In fact, anyone who dares harm it is said to die. One Quora user explained it this way: capturing or killing one will result in death after 40 days. It is a symbol of fate, of destiny, of the kind of luck you can never chase, only receive. In some stories, the Huma is described like a phoenix. Every few hundred years, it burns itself to ash only to rise again, reborn in flames. It carries both destruction and renewal, fire and sky, life and legend. Its name, Homa in Persian, comes from the word Homayun, meaning blessed. In Sanskrit, Homa refers to the fire which people gather around. Also, its appearance is no less enchanting. It's a large, regal bird with feathers that shimmer like sunlight scattered on water. Blues, greens, golds, and reds shift as it flies. It has a long, graceful neck, powerful wings, and eyes filled with ancient wisdom. A bird that doesn't belong to this world, but moves between it and something far more divine. And so they say, if one day you feel a strange warmth from the sky, or a quiet shadow dances across your shoulder, perhaps, just perhaps, the Huma has passed over you. Number 1. Jormungandr. Do you remember that old phone game, the one where the snake gets longer and longer until it bites its own tail? That's not just a game. That idea comes from an ancient legend, a Norse serpent so massive, so terrifying, that it wraps around the entire earth and holds its tail in its mouth. Its name is Jormungandr. Jormund isn't just any sea monster. He's the son of Loki, the trickster god, and the brother of Hel, the queen of the dead, and Fenrir, the giant wolf fated to devour Odin. While Fenrir was chained and Hel banished to the underworld, Jormungandr was cast into the ocean, where he grew so large he encircled the entire world. But he doesn't just sleep beneath the waves, he waits. According to Norse prophecy, the moment Jormungandr lets go of his tail, Ragnarok begins the end of everything. He will rise from the sea, spewing venom, shaking the earth, and flooding the shores. And when that day comes, he'll face Thor, the god of thunder himself. The battle will be fierce. One user summed it up saying, Thor will take 9 steps away from it, and then fall dead, dying in the moment of his triumph. But here's where it gets even stranger. This isn't just some myth told in long-lost temples. For centuries, sailors in Norway and Iceland swore they saw something huge in the water. In the 1800s, entire coastal towns claimed to witness a sea serpent as long as a village, its massive body disappearing beneath the waves. And today, Jormungandr lives on, not in reality, but in games like God of War, Assassin's Creed, and even in the symbols and stories we still tell. But the scariest thing isn't that Jormungandr might be real. It's the idea that something could be slowly coiling around us right now. And that's a wrap. Don't stop here. This was just one part of the series. Watch part 1, part 2, and part 3 to uncover even more creatures you were never supposed to know about. Trust me, it only gets stranger from here.